chartered accountant 2013 batch. Now, had she continued just in the big fours in the tax profile, that profile would not have been very, very special. What makes her special is that she's taken a complete detour in that path. एक था कॉर्पोरेट पाथ का, वो बन गई है पेरेंटिंग एंड lifestyle coach. So from that perspective, her journey is interesting and I think inspiring also, because बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं who do not want to walk down that same beaten path, जिसका end objectives are also very very similar. So Neha, welcome to this show. And very quickly tell us about your background. कहाँ से हो, क्या पढ़ा, कहाँ पहुंची, अब
Yeah. So thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm very honored to be here. And as you mentioned, like my entire background is very corporate actually. So I am a chartered accountant and I have spent over 10 years working with big four firms. So I was doing well professionally, earning a good salary, ticking off all the success boxes as such. But even while I was working with organizations, I was always very curious to learn about human behavior and psychology. So much so that I exhausted all of my Coursera and LinkedIn learning platforms, which my organization gave me, not only to enhance my technical skills, but also to gain knowledge in other fields, more specifically to understand people, emotions, and mindset. So I really used to enjoy all of that. And then when I became a mother, I naturally started learning about parenting from national as well as international coaches. At that time, I did not realize that a big shift was about to come in my life. So what happened was there was a very brief but intense phase in my life once I became a mother, where I used to feel like I am just doing, giving more but receiving less. And also, like from a mother's point of view, I was feeling that I was missing out on building a deep connection or a deep bond with my very small child at that point of time. So something happened and my inner conflict became much louder and I took a very drastic step. So which no one at that point of time initially approved of except for my husband. So he was very supportive of me quitting my job and all. And I totally immersed myself in the personal development space. So one thing led to another, one course to another, one mentor to next, and eventually I got certified myself as a parenting coach. Right now I'm also pursuing like NLP practitioner program and I'll be getting certified in a 10 days or so time. So now today when I look back at my journey, I fondly like to call it as a beautiful destruction. So this term I really liked. This is a term used by Vishen Lakhiani, which is a beautiful oxymoron in the sense that something broke, but only so that something more aligned with my soul purpose could be built. So when I actually became a parenting coach and started helping mothers, interacting with them, I genuinely felt more passionate and fulfilled, which I never felt in my entire corporate career. So yeah, here I am.
So what is a typical day now in the life of Neha? करती क्या हो exactly? वो एक
Yeah.
typical person को तो समझ में नहीं आएगा ना ये क्या होता है exactly parenting coach.
Okay. So a typical day in my life would be more around, right now I am focusing more about creating useful, valuable content, which will help mothers to understand what is happening in their child's life, what is their role in parenting. But having said that, these content alone is not going to transform you. So what I do is I also have designed various workshops on different useful topics which are like demands of parents and mothers, like screen time, building discipline, tantrums. So all of this also I'm building right now. And right now I'm taking personal coaching, like one-on-one sessions, about to also start with group coaching. So the day in my life is more about, in the mornings it's my morning routine which I like, it is a non-negotiable for me. Earlier I was not very much into all of this and it was a very rushed day. So this morning routine is there, and then I create content. Then I also take care of my daughter alongside my work. So I mostly work from home, and yeah, so this is about
So do
it.
you also take live sessions, one-to-one sessions, one-to-many
Yes.
sessions where you solve problems of people, help them discover perspectives?
Correct. So these are sessions based. So in one-to-one coaching, we generally have like 6 to 8 sessions, or it depends upon the client's requirement and the mother's requirement. So there we, understand what are the challenges a mother is facing, like what is the next step forward, whether any change in perspective or mindset shift is required, how she can structure her routine more properly and in a organized manner so that the child tantrums can be reduced. Some useful guides and resources are also shared. So this is typically like a coaching program, you can say.
Okay. So let's say, tell us that what could be, let's say, one useful case study where someone has approached you with a particular problem and your interventions have actually transformed that person's parenting. तो क्या problems होता होगा as a parent के child को, and then your intervention से, let's say,
Yeah.
over these 6 8 sessions या more.
Very nice question. So I have generally seen 2 to 3 recurring problems, which is like an omnipresent, like it's always there. The number one problem, which mothers face, especially new mothers with their small kids, is losing out there on their calm. So this mom rage, the constant irritation and frustration, which is again, we need to go to the root causes, which is again a buildup of many things. So this mom rage is there, which is hampering connection, building connection with the child, and making the mom, shout at the children, and which backfires to them. So the child may listen for a brief period, but then it backfires. So this is the number one problem which I have seen mothers coming to me with. And second most important problem is the screen time issue. Like child.
My children also have it.
So this is like a now as it has become a global problem, like everybody is talking about this screen issue. Some people think like it's getting overhyped, but what I feel is like in today's
It's a real
world,
problem.
it's a real problem. Yeah. So the screen addiction, if it is not taken care of at the early stage, it becomes more and more difficult once the child grows to, kind of de-addict them from screens. So these two are like the very, very strong issues which are like present throughout, like in all cases.
And let's say the loss of identity which a mother will have, let's say she was working and because of parenthood, she loses that job and now is just looking after the kid, and suddenly she misses that corporate life, that identity, that
True.
earning.
Yeah, it happens, and it happened with me as well. So there was a point in my life because I have always been very ambitious, go-getter, and I need to do good in my career and all of that. So when I became a mother, and I'm not right now ashamed at admitting it, but there was a point in my life when I used to, blame my kid, like because of her, I'm not able to do things and all of that. And the realization, you can say, or the epiphany was the moment when someone told me like you could have got that had it not been for your child. So क्या होता है ना, like जब हम किसी को blame कर रहे हैं, then we are fine, but somebody else is blaming someone whom you love. And that hit me, like then and there I decided that this is not going to be continuing in the future, and I would do something to show to myself first that motherhood is not the end of your career, or it is not the end, or it is not the sole identity of yours. You can be both a good mother as well as a go-getter and a achiever in your career. So you can be a both, but then being both requires a lot of effort, requires a lot of hard work, requires a lot of calmness in your mindset, in your routines. So that's where this personal development helped me a lot. So when I quit my corporate journey and I immersed myself in personal development space, then surprisingly I could have all of the time, like to learn also, to create also, to take care of my child also, and all with a calm mindset. So again, it's largely a mindset issue, and yes, I agree that it is very overwhelming for mothers, especially in nuclear families when they are, doing everything on their own with very little support. But I just want to say, like, I'm here and I'm a living example to say that this is not the end of your career and you can do better.
तो ये जो conscious future ready parenting है, which is your program as it is titled, what is that one change that it tries to bring in the parenting culture? How does it go about? What are the pillars of this program?
Okay.
outcomes.
So conscious future ready parenting. So as the name suggests, it's like it has two aspects. One is conscious parenting and the other one is future ready parenting. So why conscious parenting? So people say na, like once you become a parent सब अपने आप आ जाता है. So I completely disagree with this because I've seen it's not easy. So parenting cannot be done on autopilot. So I am a very strong advocate of conscious parenting where you are actually becoming more aware of your child's needs and then taking any action. You are pausing before reacting to any situation, and conscious parenting helps you in all of that. So it helps you to understand your child development milestones, your child psychology, what they are going through, then what is your role as a parent in that situation, or overall. So their conscious parenting is very much necessary and the need of the hour. Second aspect of it is future ready parenting. So, future ready parenting is more about the kind of environment or the world we are living in. So, we are currently in a VUCA world, so which is very volatile. It has a lot of unpredictability. It is complex and it is also unambiguous. It is also ambiguous. Like we don't know what will happen next or how will even the schooling system has changed drastically and it is still changing. So basically, my point is education or academics alone is not enough now for this generation. And so we should focus on basically minimum 6 skills which schools are not explicitly teaching it. So the 6 skills or the pillars which I say for future ready parenting is emotional intelligence. Then there is critical thinking and problem solving, your ability to adapt, basically resilience skills. Then there is communication skills, very important. Fifth one is money management, and the last one is spiritual quotient. So these 6 skills are very much required to be a well grounded and a well developed individual. Only academics will take you to a certain point, like it took me in my career and all. But when real challenges came, then I was clueless like where to go. So once you start inculcating these skills and building upon it, you will not be dependent on anyone else. Like I took help from my mentors, I took help from different coaches, my parents. But what I am aiming to achieve is to make future generation independent, expressive, confident about their emotions, confident about who they want to be and who they really are. They should know who they really are and what they want to do with their lives. So this is the entire
Package.
thing of package of conscious future ready parenting program.
Give us an example ki how it transformed someone's life. Ki there was someone who came with ABC problem. They went your program. Maybe they underwent these one-to-one sessions. उसके बाद उनका perspective shift हो गया कि नहीं हाँ motherhood is not a burden. Kid, for example, किसी का screen time कम हुआ by your interventions.
Yeah, so again, screen time is, so let's take the example of screen time only. So it is, since it is a very common issue. So people come and generally they say like my child is addicted. They don't want to go off screen. They don't want to study. They want to see it on loop and all of that. And how do I make them screen free? So the first question is, how do I make my child screen free? But we need to first understand what is the root cause, right? Why your child is getting addicted to screens. So people don't understand that what screen is giving to them. So instead of asking how to make your child screen free, you should first ask, what is screen giving to my child? So psychologically, if you think about it, screen gives you 5 things. It helps a kid or a child feel secure. It helps them to feel seen. It helps them feel successful in that space. It helps them feel significant, and it also helps them to soothe or calm, right? But so you will see like screen is not all that bad. So it is actually giving you psychologically these 5 things, and which is like a good oxytocin and dopamine all are working, and your child is feeling good when they are watching screens. But the real problem arises when all of these things are only being given by screens and not by you and not by the parent, right? Then the real problem arises. So the only thing which we can do here is first understand why this happened. It did not happen all of a sudden, right? There is a sequence to it. You must have given for half an hour, then you increase the time, then you thought, and let's be honest here that most of us give screen to for our convenience, not because the child is demanding, right? So and then it becomes, so we give it for our convenience, for a like short term relief, and also, and then it becomes a like a big headache. Now how to de-addict them? So it's as good as, like an alcohol addict. So understanding the root cause, so we what we do is, again, it is age specific. So making a child who is like say 9 years or 10-year-old to become screen free in a then it will require whole lot of different strategies vis-a-vis a child who is say till 8 or 9 year or 8-year old.
Recent addict, an old addict.
Again, their temperament, their thought processes, the way of communication with these two different groups is completely different. So yes, I agree. Like with a small child, it is easier to get them off screen. So earlier the better. So it
But what
requires
do you do if you take them away from the screen? Then the parent has
exactly.
to get with the kid and play.
Exactly. So as you said, I don't have time. This is the most common thing which parents say, like, I don't have time. And I feel sad, like, if you intervene at the initial stage, you may not have to devote time later. Now you are devoting time, you are coming to me, you are sitting for 1 hour sessions, 2 hour sessions, you are like praying कि कुछ हो जाए या क्यों ऐसा हो गया. Then we have time to crib, to blame and all, but we don't have time initially. So this we don't have time thing is just in the head. Once we understand that and implement it in the early stage itself, like I'll just give you a small example. If your child is addicted to screen, like I have observed this with my daughter, like she's 3.5 only, and I give her like half an hour of screen, okay, which I also want to curtail. So that half an hour screen, sometimes what happens, she only gets, bored and she wants to do something else. So it's not like she wants to see it like on a loop. And sometimes she likes painting. So I have kept some painting and also reading books. So I have kept painting and books accessible to her, so that if she does not want to do screens or if she insists on screen, I'll just say, let's first do a painting activity and then I'll give you screen. When you give these kind
Okay.
of choices, it's more probably it is like they will choose what it interests. And even if they still choose screen, when you give these kind of choices, like when you are requesting and asking in a polite manner, can we do this and then we do this, once they come into that activity, they forget about screen. This is I'm talking about for the young children. So you need to keep some, I mean, activities handy for them. Maybe initially it will require time because she cannot paint by herself. I need to, refill, or I need to guide her. I need to make it fun for her. It's not like I'll just leave her and she's doing on herself. It will not happen initially, but slowly and gradually they will develop that skill and they will want to do that activity. So you need to first identify like what all activities your child is interested in. And it's not like you need to devote the entire time when they are doing that activity. It will take time initially, later on it gets reduced. Also more outdoor play is also recommended for all of this. So this was activity.
Outdoor play, Neha, is not possible because in these standalone buildings there are no playgrounds nowadays.
Agreed. So even my location does not have. So that what you can do is maybe on weekends you can take her out. But then
To a play
again, I would
zone
say
or
nature, like being in nature is very important in whichever way you can
Hmm.
do. Maybe on the terrace you can take them. Even if it is
Yes.
standalone building, they can roam on the terrace. So it's not like open space is not there. So what I am saying is, first is understanding what else can be given to them in place of screen.
Exactly.
So what the screen is giving you, what else can give the same thing to your child?
Dopamine
Yeah, if
and
you're
all this.
taking something away, it should be, the gap should be filled by something else. That is one. And before all of that, what comes first is the connection part. So your connection, your bond with your child should be very, very strong, should be such that the screen does not have power on your child. Rather, you have that grip on your child. So again, connection building also plays a part. Like when I told you, you will ask your child that can we do this and then we do this later. So she will agree to you only if you have a good connection with her, right? So again, here also connection part is very much important. And the third part is skill building, which I mentioned. Like if I give pain to her and she's not that skilled to do that activity alone, then again she will come back to screen because that is a more easier thing and she's getting what she's wanting. So again, skill building is also very important. So this is age wise work which we do. Given the with different age groups, we need to work accordingly and build each of these pillars, like the connection, boundary setting. Again, boundary setting I did not discuss. It's a huge topic in itself, like how you set boundaries around screen. So we focus on connection, boundary setting, and skill building. And again, there are some resources and all what activities you can do, age specific work we do to make kids screen free. So I also have designed a workshop for screen free kids where I teach all of this in detail.
Fantastic. I mean, you've done some really incredible work. Now, what would be your advice to an aspiring coach? And I often tell people, in fact, I was recently, for example, counseling someone, and I said that if you end up being another MBA, a financial analyst or a marketing person, the world really does not need so many of those additional MBAs. But if you do something in liberal arts where you try to impact emotions, psychology, liberal arts as you would say, but she said, sir, इसमें career नहीं है कुछ. So, what would you advise to people who aspire to be on this liberal arts front, try to impact humanity? See, because what you are doing is not just a source of livelihood. Doing taxation at a big four would have been far more impactful in terms of earning money. But
Agreed.
this is money plus, 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 plus.
Plus, plus.
So, what would be your advice to those kind of people who want to pursue a career in coaching, who want to create an impact and also be financially independent,
Right.
plus living a balanced life? So, here I would also request you to say ki as compared to let's say a big four life, is today's life of yours as a coach far more balanced is also one thing that I would like you to touch upon.
Okay, sure. So, a very good question from your end. First, those people who are thinking to only do coaching for, because they are seeing it's a huge market and it has huge potential, you should stay out of it. Because if only that thinking, with that thinking you are coming, it's all, sacred energy work. And I've seen that because your energy kind of, rubs off to the client, and sooner or later they will get that, and that kind of impact you would not be able to make. Is this is my belief. So I believe coaching is a service, not a sales activity, right? So second point of yours was the balanced life. So life in big fours was no doubt hectic, but there I was not getting that fulfillment which I'm getting here. And right now, since I am not, I'm just building, and I have created resources, I've created workshops. So right now it's a bit hectic for me because I need to devote more time because I have just started. But once you are into it and it is your passion to be in it, then time is not an issue, because then you are not taking it as a work as such. So that balance part is what you were saying, that would not come, because then you would not feel the burnout. Because like I can go on talking about this topic for hours, I can go on reading about this and I'll not get exhausted, vis-a-vis when I was doing some tax returns and all, and ki khatam hua, time hua, and I just shut off the laptop. So you are not working in that kind of energy anymore. So in that sense, it is very good to pursue what is your true passion or your sole purpose. Now the challenge which aspiring coaches generally face, like when you are just coming into this field, is mostly to find a proper profitable niche which will multiply your strengths and which will give you returns. Because at the end of the day, returns is important, otherwise you will get burnout. And it is also important to reach larger audience, so earning is important. So most of the problem is faced by in identifying your niche and where you will where your strengths fit in. So that's where the guidance of mentors and all come in. So if you are an aspiring coach, you should stop overthinking. You should at least see, like, if alongside your work, I'll not say to quit work because there are many other responsibilities. Alongside your work, take the help of a mentor. Like, even I guide in my high ticket programs, I also guide people to become how to become coaches, like digital coach. So you can take the help of mentors, whoever you resonate with, and start doing it simultaneously with your current work. Once you start seeing any traction in it, you start seeing finding your passion, and you actually give one or two transformations to people, then you can think of it full time. So basically, my idea is to not overthink and just do it, because clarity will only come through action. So just start, take the help of a mentor. And I mean, yes, you are good to go if you have that service mindset.
And what would be your advice to those mothers who are still gripped by guilt, who cannot take a move as bold as you by quitting Big Four and joining coaching
Hmm.
as a career, but still continuing in Big Four with that little kid? So there would be guilt. Ki I'm not doing good enough. Am I being selfish? Am I choosing money over my children's joy? Am I entrusting the kid to the maid?
Hmm.
And what are these deadlines all for? What would you advise for them? Because see, we all think about the kid only, but we don't just
True.
think about the mother, because the mother also would also have a lot of emotions.
Correct. So guilt is like a universal emotion for mothers, and it is, I think it will always be there, whether you are working in Big Four, whether whether you are a homemaker. So even a homemaker is also facing this kind of guilt, whether I am doing enough for my child, whether I am a good role model for my child, should I work like others are working so that child, looks upon me like as a role model. Or even then, I mean, this is something which all of us mothers are facing, and it is not going anywhere. So the number one thing which you can do is you can accept it and understand that you have to live with it. A perspective shift which I generally give to mothers who come with this kind of problem is that I tell them that if the very fact that you are feeling guilty itself proves that you are a loving and a concerned mother, right? So that, kind of this perspective kind of calms them down, that yes, I am not that bad a parent, and I am doing my best which I can given my resources and the environment I live in. So first understand that the guilt is coming because you are loving and concerned mother. But in today's time, love is not enough. So what I would suggest for those mothers is to be more present, be more aware. So even if they are giving say 10 to 15 minutes of time to their child, it should be distraction free, should be like with the intention of connecting, with the intention of creating a bond, and not only correcting and telling them things to do this and that. Pure connection time should be given. You should be more present and invest in your learning. That is very important. So if you start learning, believe me, like you would find time and energy to do 10 other things alongside your full-time job. And I've seen mothers doing that, because most of the time we are like by 7 or 8 or maximum by 10 p.m. we are exhausted, right? We are out of energy. We are not in a mood to do anything else. Even in the mornings, our mornings are rushed. So once you take out time for yourself, your self care, and your personal learning, then these things are taken care of.
Fantastic. I think I will need to make my wife also speak to you, because she also often grapples with the struggle of managing CA job portal, the two daughters. Now, the two daughters that we have two very contradictory expectations. One is now a teenager, and one is still in
Mhm.
class two, like 7, 8 years old. There is a generation gap between the two kids now. One watches Korean drama on Netflix and addicted to the extent that if you take away the screen, she will shout ki why don't I have my personal time? Can you
Hmm.
imagine a 12, 13-year-old kid demanding कि मुझे चाहिए ही?
Yes, true. Their language is completely different vis-a-vis, say, 5 to 6 year old.
The
So
5 year 6 is only watching shorts, and you can think that just
that is very dangerous.
swiping away shorts is the worst thing that can
First
happen
thing.
to your attention span. But
True.
that is what she is doing. So great. I think if whatever content that you are creating here and whatever thought leadership that you will be able to execute here will go a long way in helping our society be at least 1% better from where it is in at least those sections who get influenced by you. So, my final question, if there was a listener who's come this far in this podcast, again with that limited attention span that we have, what would be that one thought that you would want him or her to go away with?
Yeah. So I would say to the women listeners, who mostly women listeners would have come to till the end. So I would say that motherhood is not the end of your career, or it is not your only identity. You can work around it, and there are mentors and coaches from whom you can take help. Do not shy away from that, because there's this stigma, like people either think that it is some therapy or something, so we are mentally sound, we do not want to go here. Or like the other family members are like, "Ki, what is there to learn in parenting, and why do you want to do this?" Take your call, choose wisely, invest in your learning, and come out of that overwhelm and guilt. And second, most important thought I would try to leave all the viewers with is that your child is not your trophy. Whatever you could not achieve, you cannot think, put that expectation on your child. So we genuinely, we need to understand, we need to first parent ourselves before we start parenting our children. So this thought I would like your viewers to leave.
Fantastic, fantastic. See, a child is not your trophy.
Right.
And it is so true a sentence because that little kid becomes overburdened with those unfulfilled expectations of yours.
And
Thank
also
you.
parents are like, I'm doing so much, still I'm not getting the results. So it's not like this give and take. So once you understand and reparent yourself, you understand it's more of a spiritual journey. I always say parenting is more of a spiritual journey. Your child is here to help you evolve first, and then whatever you expect you will get.
And we missed out the father part also because father also undergoes a lot in terms of that parenthood. And we will cover this on some other day. So thank you so much for your time, Neha. And
Thank you,
I'm sure
Mentorship.
this is going to make a dent in the universe in its own little way. Thanks a lot. Yeah.